Welcome back to another vlog. We are back at my church because we have to do a few more things before a big event called Celebrate the Light. And my voice sounds a little different to you. I'm just getting over a cold, so don't worry about it. I find it annoying. I know you're going to find it annoying. Don't worry about it. We're just going to power through it because we have a really big episode planned for today for the vlog. Every Halloween, my church does something called Celebrate the Light. So instead of wanting to celebrate all this evil in the world, my church wants to focus on celebrating the good, the light in the world, namely the gospel, but also wanting to help out the community. So not only do we hand out candy to the kids, but we also have food downstairs for anybody wanting to have, and on the top floor, we do a full worship concert, which I'm in charge of. We asked some of our friends this year to help us out. So that means we have a lot more people on a worship team than we normally do, which means I have a few things I have to get right in the church technically. We have to add in a new in-ear monitoring system. I have to hook the board up to our Wi-Fi signal so that we can connect things properly. And I have to set up the new stream on our brand new computer. There's a lot going on in this vlog today. I'm hoping I can get it all done because I don't actually have a lot of time to do this. So let's go. All right, so last night the church decorators were in here, the volunteers, and they did a fantastic job decorating our set. There's also a photo booth downstairs that they also decorated, but we're not here to decorate. We're here to fix the production. So there's 6 people playing tonight. There's 6 people going to be on this stage, which is, I kind of don't know how we're going to do that. But 6 of us are going to be on stage, and we only have in-ears enough for 5. So I have to put in an extra set of in-ears. And luckily, we actually have an extra set. Okay, and these are the in-ear monitors we use. They're the Shure PSM 300s. Now, the reason why we use in-ear monitors is because we want the musicians to hear themselves. When they're playing in the main mix in the room, sometimes it's hard for the singers to hear their own notes that they're hitting. Or sometimes it's hard to hear the musician you're supposed to be locked up with. By using in-ears, we're able to hear ourselves and the musicians we specifically want to hear better without having to boost them in the room. Now, the reason why we specifically picked these ones is because they can do something called a dual mono split. And what that means is it can take a stereo signal, a right and a left signal, and usually that'd be combined to go the right and left of your ears. But it can split it and go to 2 separate body packs, which means that we can actually get 2 people working off of the same in-ears. A separate signal for the right channel and a separate signal for the left channel. And all that is totally controllable by the soundboard. So these are identical to the ones we have over the soundboard. The only difference is these are a little cheaper. We got them at the exact same time with the hope that we can use these for the congregate members who are hard of hearing. The only problem was these are completely rejected by the congregate members and nobody wanted to use them. So we ended up just throwing them in the closet, and today we finally get to use them. But they work identically to the Shure ones. The only difference is these are a little cheaper, so they only have a stereo path and we can't do the dual mono one unlike the Shure ones. But that really shouldn't be too much of an issue. So only one person can work off of this versus 2 people off of the Shure ones. It's not too big of a problem, but it is still something to consider. That's why it's cheap. Okay, so I got the 3rd IEM set up. It looks a little silly. This guy right here looks a little silly next to the 2 big boys, but he does the same job. Now, let me explain to you exactly what I did. We're using buses in order to send the signal out from the aux out to the transmitter. And the reason why we're doing this is because in a bus, you can tell the board what you want to be sent into it. So if you want more vocals or more guitars or less drums or more bass, you can tell it to do that. And every bus will have a different mix that will not affect the main mix. And that's why we use buses. We can do the mix exactly as the musician wants without affecting any of the main. So we have full control over the whole mix, which is pretty awesome. Now, you might notice at the end of our little bus channels that there was a wired IEM. Now, that's this guy right here. This is our 6th IEM that we're going to be using. Now, it's a wired one. It's a Behringer wired IEM. And the really cool thing about it is it does pretty much the exact same thing as our wireless ones. The only difference is it's wired. It has an XLR in the front and it's going to be connected directly into the snake in the front of house. Because it has a wire, this is a really good idea to plug into someone like a keyboard player or a drummer, somebody that's usually sitting down or kind of tucked away into the corner so that nobody trips over the cable. And it's not as cool and fancy as the wireless for that reason, but it does the exact same thing. We can still send its own personal mix on this thing and it works perfectly. Can you believe this is the only table available in church that's not decorated? We're just gonna have to do it from down here. Why did I get an Ethernet cable? Because I want to attach the soundboard to the Wi-Fi. Now, why would I want to do something stupid like that? Because right now, in order for the musicians to change their own buses, they have to scream at the soundy in the back of the room, and then they have to lower and raise the sound accordingly to maybe get it right. And that's kind of the problem. Usually we just settle for, it's good enough. I can kind of hear myself. But if we attach the soundboard to the Wi-Fi, then people can download the Behringer app, connect to the Wi-Fi themselves, and adjust their own mixes on the soundboard from the front of house. So with this cable, we should be able to have a far more efficient sound check, and you'll be able to get the mixes that you actually want. But in order to do that, we need to start drilling. Now you might be asking yourself, how am I going to get the cable from there all the way back here? And that's a great question, hypothetical person. I don't really know. But luckily, our church is kind of cheap. So, as opposed to having fancy blinds that go down by themselves, we have a little blind puller. And I think I'm long enough to maybe get it. Okay, that didn't work. Luckily, we have a shepherd's cane made out of Home Depot's finest. Okay, so let me show you what we just did. Right above us is the soundboard, and we fished the wire into the bottom here. We then took it, fished it in through this light, fished it in through the third light, and finally came out the fourth light, and there's our wire here. The next goal is we want to drill in through the wall and put it all the way across the line and up from there. The reason why we're doing it there is because right behind here is the furnace, and it's a giant concrete wall, and it's just not worth it to drill into it when you just go around. It's gonna look kind of ugly with a blue cable, but yeah, we'll fix it later. Okay, so we almost made it. So right here is the pastor's office, and right there is where our cable is. Kind of hard to see, pretty dark in here, but right there, all the way in the back is the soundboard. So we almost made it. The only problem is this door. This door has a bit of a wall here. There's a bit of an overhang, but on the other side of the door, there's nothing. So we come over here, there's nothing here that we could kind of drill through. It's almost flush with it. So Pastor Todd's gonna have to come over, and we're gonna have to figure out, because we are so close. This is the router right here. Like I can't believe how close we are from over here to just over here. That's like not even 10 feet. We're so close. We're so close. Did you find the hole?
I just want to make sure it's not wire.
Although that would make an excellent thumbnail.
Huh?
Your hair all lit up. We can see your skeleton.
Your concern is overwhelming. I see light. Seriously. Seriously.
Where's the light?
Hey, I see it.
Thank you, Todd. All right, this actually works. Check it out. This is my phone. I have it connected to the soundboard. And watch. I can pull the slider up. I can do the other one. Woo-hoo-hoo! Crap, I missed it. I'm so happy that that actually worked and went through, so I don't have to do it all over again. I have to go clean up downstairs. Todd's already cleaning up downstairs, so I gotta go help him clean up. We gotta do one more thing before the show starts, and we are running out of time. Now, the last thing we have to do is upgrade our stream. Like many churches, during COVID, we had the chance to explore and experiment with live streaming. And at first, all we used were our pastor's old iPhone. Now, this is pretty good, and it gets the job done pretty well. The only problem is the audio on this is not very good. So, we broke down and we bought this, a Rode Lavalier. And this is fantastic. This works really well for a speaker. The only problem is it sucks at picking up a band. And since Has to Service is a worship team with multiple instruments, this really doesn't do very good and really distorts very easily. So we need something that can give us a better audio signal and stream to multiple platforms other than just Facebook. Luckily, our soundboard is capable of connecting to a computer. And someone from the congregation donated to us their old computer. So that's exactly what I'm going to try to do now. I'm going to try to plug in the computer, get OBS working, and get everything running. Hopefully this works.
Hey, good to see it. Why, yes, I did get a haircut. Thank you for noticing. You know, not a lot of people would notice. Oh, the vlog. Yeah. See, I forgot to shoot the rest of the vlog. Unfortunately, I just bit off more than I can chew, and when push came to shove, I had to put the camera down and focus on my first responsibility, which was, of course, ensuring that this worship concert goes on right and leading the people that we have in it. So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to film the rest of the vlog. But a quick recap went something like this. See, right after I shot that scene, I was supposed to upgrade our stream, but all of a sudden I looked at the clock and I realized I really had to get changed into my costume, which, by the way, here's my costume. Natalia and I did a couple's costume. As you can see, we're Johnny and Mavis from Hotel Transylvania. She, by the way, hand painted that shirt, which was an incredible job. It looks really, really good. And as soon as I was done with that, the band already was coming into the church. So I had to teach them to use new in-ear monitors, as well as doing a sound check and doing a rehearsal. And by the time that was done, well, it was pretty much showtime. And we had to go out and start our worship concert, which, by the way, went fantastic. We saw a bunch of new faces and the Lord was worshiped, and we had a fantastic time. Now, I'm not going to show you the worship concert here for a few reasons. One of them is because the Rode mics is all we had to stream, because I wasn't able to get the stream up and running quite yet. So you're going to get kind of a really crappy distorted sound, which doesn't sound that good. So I'm not going to be showing it here. Rest assured, it was a really good night where we took the celebration of evil and horror and gore, and we're able to celebrate God and everything good in it. So that went absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to do next year, because they're always so much fun to check in the community and just serve them in this type of way. Also, speaking of having positive interactions, thank you guys so much for what you guys did on my last video. That video went from 33 views to almost 10,000 views in a week. You guys are insane, and I'm extremely excited to say welcome aboard to all the new subscribers, because that number also shot up. It's incredible to see. Thank you guys so much for liking, comment, sharing, and subscribing. Even the ones that didn't quite agree with my message, thank you guys for being respectful in the comments. Thank you guys for showing me that love and grace. That is so awesome. And because I wasn't able to respond to them, don't think that I haven't been paying attention, because I have, and I've been able to read almost every comment. So they're not going unnoticed. It's just hard for me to respond to all of them. But thank you guys so much for all that you've done for me. As for me, next week a new video will show up, and I should have one ready by next week. Maybe. Hopefully. Well, I learned a big lesson about biting off more than I can chew, and that's really what this is. But I will have something for you guys next week, so thank you guys so much. Can't wait to see you guys next week with a video that will probably, maybe, be finished in time. Ooh. That smells like military. Okay, quick side note. When I was in Scouts, I slept on a military battleship in Buffalo, and this smells exactly like it. Like wasted billions of dollars in mold.